Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Broadcast.gg Scrim Nights. I am going to be your play-by-play and host for this evening. Kenobi, I am joined by the lovable and huggable BeatDownBlvd. Beatdown, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, we're going to get into some action right here. Today we have Avium taking on HumbleBrag. These two teams are, around the same SR, so this could be a close one. Beatdown, why don't you tell me a little bit about HumbleBrag?
All right, so HumbleBrag, aside from having a great name, so the core of this roster has been together for a few months now, although some of these guys joined recently, so they are relatively new. Might be an issue of synergy because I know Avium's been together a little longer. So their favorite composition to run is the dive, but the way they say it is dive, who doesn't run dive? I can't tell if they love it or they just love the meta. And their favorite game modes are King of the Hill, a team after my own heart, and their least favorite is 2CP.
A team after my own heart. Yeah, I don't like that. 2CP lulz in the chat right now. We're gonna be taking it over to Avium. Avium, I personally was able to cast this team this weekend for Open Division. Did not go as it was according to plan for them. They got 3-0'd by their opponents, so probably looking to bounce back here, get right back into the scrims, and good for them for getting right back into it. We're gonna have Cedro as the captain on that main tank. Next to him, he's gonna have his buddy Story on that Roadhog. Steven and Daikon, the DPS dynamic duo. Cray and Miss Rude rounding out the supports. So a lot of good players here. This team has been together for 3 months. They have some good communications from what I saw. Their favorite comp is Try and quad tanks, so a lot of Moira Meatball, especially on this first map of Oasis. We're going to be having some brawls on the point with these big tanks, these Zaras and these Reinhardts. Their favorite map is King's Row, widely regarded as one of the best maps in Overwatch. Least favorite map, 2CP. Team after my own heart, so both these teams not liking 2CP. And something we need to mention here, Beatdown, Brigitte, she is active currently. So what do you think we're going to be seeing out from Brigitte, as it looks like Dan Twist is going to be playing it?
Yeah, from what I've seen, people running scrims, they run Brigitte as basically the a third support. Because she is very good at being an off tank. She has that little shield, a lot of CC, so despite her low HP, she can actually make a decent amount of space for the team. And the armor and clutch heals every few seconds is actually really useful, especially in a brawly comp with the Reinhardt. You're gonna see they just want to get right in there and swing.
Yeah, gonna be looking to swing and knock off a few heads. This comp, as these two teams are ready to rear to go right now into this. It seems like these two teams are ready and rearing to go. Most likely gonna brawl in that side room to the right of the point like we normally do. Fire Strike's gonna come out from both Reinhardts here, and we're gonna see the Brigitte in action for the first time. Not much happening right now as they're just feeling each other out, and they're gonna be heading back onto the point. Brigitte just trying to get a little bit of a stun in there, but missing. Brigitte is going in, just swinging that flail round and round, not dying, and they do end up getting that Reinhardt pick beat down.
Yeah, that Reinhardt pick is so huge. No mercy for Avium. No mercy for HumbleBrag. So losing your main tank that early is really difficult. They need to get out of there right now. They're not going to win anything here. They're just feeding ultimates.
Yeah, and they're going to try and get some staggers. Your Story is going to walk up onto people. Miss Rude is going to end up getting that kill, but gets the return kill onto her. That's not good, as they are pushed up just a little bit too farther. But they do have the triple support, so it should be all right. Lucio going to be able to heal those players all the way back up. And they have picked the Junkrat here on the side of Team HumbleBrag. Do you think that is one of the counters to Brigitte here?
I absolutely do think so. Her shield being useful, it does have a low HP. So basically, what you want to do is just keep pumping damage into her from a distance, because she wants to fight you up close, right up in your face. But if you pump damage from a distance, especially with damage like the Junkrat, not only is she useless, you can pretty much just shred the enemy like that.
Yeah, shred the enemy, and as we talk about shredding, Story there and Daikon combining for a nice Graviton tire combo. They're getting the picks that they needed, the damage coming out, and they use a lot of ultimate abilities, and they do still have both their support ultimates. So I mean, look for HumbleBrag to try and pop in with the return, with a return grab of their own, as we try to see here.
Yeah, this is pretty good, although they gotta watch out for Cray's sound barrier. Either bait it out or use the Graviton to actually get it out of there.
And as you mentioned, the Lucio ult comes out and Graviton goes in. The charge comes in. gets the one person that they needed, but unfortunately it goes down. Daikon gets the kill onto his return onto PG1, and it looks like this push is going to be all for naught here. No one to follow up with that Graviton. Maybe a little bit too much quick on the draw for Chinchilla on that Zarya, as they could have waited a little bit more for that follow-up, but they do end up getting the support ults coming out from the side of Team Avium, so they do have 5 on their own. They could look to push in here, BeatDown.
Yeah, I think so. You know, last push wasn't necessarily Chinchilla's fault, I believe, for being gung-ho. It just seemed like a miscommunication here.
The Shatter comes out and the grab as well. Ults are flying out everywhere. Daikon gets PG1 again onto this, but the huge Diva Bomb trade 3K coming out from Brockhampton there might have sealed this point here for HumbleBrag.
Yes, amazing Shatter from Zero. Was just in time. Great timing. Combining it with Brockhampton's self-destruct, even by the time the team got up, there was no way they could have gotten out of its range. So that triple kill pretty much guaranteed them to flip the point.
Yeah, and they use their ults effectively. That's one of the most important things in Overwatch. HumbleBrag is able to take back that point, and now they're going to be looking to stall off that timer just a little bit more. But they only need one fight on the side of Team Avium to win this. And if, you know, Diva gets caught out here, that's going to be not good. He needs to make sure he gets away. He is going to be back to his team. The Shatter comes out. It does get both the supports, so that's huge. The Moira ult's going to come out as well. Comboed with the Kamehameha. It's going to be coming out. Oh, it doesn't manage to get anyone, but PG1 does get that tire in that combo. And it looks like Avium is going to be able to take the point back here. Dan Twist going to kill Chinchilla, Daikon getting Q-tip, and it looks like that might be the end of it here. BeatDown, they won the fight they needed.
Yeah, that's right. Getting that early support kill is so bad for them. You know, they needed that healing. They needed the ultimate we just saw Excited use. But, you know, having them down, having the main heals, all that utility gone, there was really nothing they could have done.
Yeah, we see Dan Twist there just hacking away on the flail, just trying to do as much damage as he can. Ended up getting the Reinhardt and the Moira at the same time, and it's just a lonely Brockhampton Diva on the point, going to stand still and accept their fate. And that looks like it's going to be it. Avium is going to be taking this 1-0 so far, and I mean, what do you think about the Brigitte in this comp from Avium? It seems to be working pretty out well so far, BeatDown.
So far, I think they are playing it pretty well. I think, however, the biggest problem right now for HumbleBrag is that they're actually playing into the Brigitte when they really shouldn't, because, you know, they have what they need to actually take care of it. They have the Junkrat, they have the Rhine Shield, especially now with Brigitte in this meta that we're about to see. It seems like we're gonna be back to the old meta of the shield break war. And that's what HumbleBrag needs to play. They need to play back. They need to use the Zarya, the high energy, the Junkrat. They need to break the enemy Rhine Shield and just pump that damage in. Because if you do that and not play into the Brigitte, you're just fine. Because that Brigitte can't do anything. She can give armor every 7 or 8 seconds, but like, what good is that against all that junk damage?
Yeah, look out for the junk damage to be a little bit of a factor against this enemy comp that is not very mobile. I mean, besides the dive potential from the tanks, Chinchilla is going to be very hard for him to escape anything. I mean, the Brigitte stun, and as I mentioned, he does go down right away. Lack of mobility showing hard for McCree there, and Chinchilla Cedro is going to be able to take him out, and that's the first pick going over to the side of Avium.
So far, I don't like the comp I'm seeing from HumbleBrag here. You know, they really had it right the first time with the Reinhardt comp as a Junkrat, because this comp isn't going to be able to do very much. You know, the fighting against the armor that the Brigitte can give, even though it doesn't have it now, once Brigitte gets the rally, you know, they don't have anything for it. Winston's not going to kill it. Neither is the McCree, even if he does get the Deadeye.
Yeah, and Cedra there comes out with the huge Shatter, gets both the supports, and that's the end of the fight right there. They're going to be able to finally cat this point, and they do have the ult advantage so far in these fights. And I mean, like we mentioned earlier, it looks like PG1 is going to be switching over to that Junkrat, so I like this pick coming out from them. Chinchilla going to be going over to that Pharah, and Brigitte, even as powerful as she is, she cannot shoot up into the sky, so that is something that they're going to have an advantage of with this pharmacy.
Yeah, you know, this is much better. This is actually the perfect DPS duo they need right here. There's no hit scan on Avium, so all they can do is just pump in that long-range damage with Chinchilla and PG1, both on the long-range projectile DPS. You know, this is what they need.
Yeah, it's going to be looks like what they need, but they still need to make sure that they don't leave Q-tip on an island there as they do. Story ends up getting the kill, and Story is going to go ham here with a 2K, and that's going to be into that push. I mean, it looks so good for them at the start, but they just leave their supports on an island just a little bit. PG1 is going to be able to get a return kill onto Daikon there, but it is going to be still some percentage ticking away here for Avium. They're at 52%.
That is true. Hopefully that early kill on the Daikon will help them get to the point, try to take that early 6v5. And we see Daikon now switching to the Soldier 76 because he's trying to counter Chinchilla's Pharah. You can tell that that's going to be a problem for them.
Yeah, the rally's going to come out here, and you're going to be getting all that health, and they're just going to run in. The Deep Bomb's going to come out here. Doesn't manage to get anyone as Cedro puts his hammer up right away. The grab comes out too. The huge Transcendence coming out from Q-Tip does a very good job of saving his team. But the Shatter comes out, and PG1 is not going to be long for this world as he dies as well. Chinchilla doing his best to fire up from the high ground, but he just manages to fall as Excited is not tethered to him. And this is going to be another wash here probably for the side of Team HumbleBrag. Avium putting their stamp on this game.
Absolutely, and although I said that the Junkrat and the Pharah was a good TPS duo, what I didn't quite get to is that they need to swap the tank line here, because you know what? It doesn't work. You need to block the Shatter. You need to play the shield break for it, like I was saying before. But with the Winston D.Va, there's nothing you can do here. And honestly, there's no meaningful damage for D.Va to block. Before Daikon actually swapped to the Soldier, like, sure, he could block some Junkrat damage, but there's not much the D.Va can do. With the Ryan swinging into the shield, with the Particle Beam too.
Yeah, this attack visor going to come out there. Is going to get Excited. The Daikon is going to fall here from Brockhampton, the D.Va. Maybe a little bit too quick on the trigger finger with that ultimate. Might have liked to have had it for this next fight. But HumbleBrag is going to be able to take the point, and it's a story from the first map. They do get it back at 99%, use their ultimates very effectively. So they have that going for them. Chinchilla just shooting away on their Pharah. Mercy's not with him, comes back right now. Excited's going to be back on her partner right there. And they're going to be looking to get this as they're going to take the high ground here, Avium.
Well, it seems like this is probably going to work in their favor. They already have the Shatter again, the beat that's dropping right now, and it's not looking good, and the rally as well.
Yeah, a lot of health there to poke through. If you're the side of Team HumbleBrag, you need to really start doing some damage. And PG1 could start it off here with the Tyro. Zero is going to get able to get Daikon, who was not in that rally, so he didn't get any of the armor. But Dan Twist is going to be able to kill the Pharah. And it looks like there's 3 people caught in that grab. Cedro with a huge fire strike gets Excited and Zero. And that might be it. The Shatter comes out. Cedro going absolutely ballistic on this Rhine. Going to be able to take out the rest of the team. Chinchilla, just one Pharah in the air. Her wings are going to get clipped soon enough, and that is going to be the point and most likely the game here for Avium.
Absolutely. I really like the discipline we see from Cedro here. It's the last fight. They pretty much have the advantage. You'd expect the Ryan to go in there, just trying to make the big Shatter play, but he actually held on to it. They knew they had the advantage with the Lucio sound barrier, so he held it. And he waited until there was only a few people left, absolutely no one to block that Shatter, took down the last 3, and then guaranteed them the point.
And guaranteeing them the game as well. They're going to be taking this at a 1-0 Avium, bouncing back from that 3-0 that they suffered earlier in the week in Open Division. But, I mean, is there anything... These games have been pretty one-sided so far, besides a few ultimates that we've seen that have worked, like we see here from Brockhampton getting that triple kill with help of the Shatter. Is there anything you've seen here from HumbleBrag, comp-wise or anything that they need to be working on here? Because they seemed a little bit perturbed by that Brigitte pick.
Well, the problem is there isn't necessarily the compositions, although actually that last map with the dive comp wasn't a good idea. I think their main issue is that this is strategy. They need to understand how to fight against this Brigitte, because it seems like right now that they don't. They keep playing into her. They play the game she wants to play, and that's the brawl game, like the meet me in the pit, all just fist kind of brawl style. And not only do they not have a Brigitte, actually, that's the main problem. If you don't have a Brigitte, you can't play that style. You shouldn't, by any means, try to do that.
So do you think, as we're going to be talking about, as the meta is going to start to evolve here with Brigitte coming into the meta and coming season 10, do you think if you see a Brigitte on the other side, do you think you need to, just knuckle up and pick your own Brigitte, or are there things that can counter it?
In my opinion, I think you could, as you say, knuckle up and pick the Brigitte. Although I think there are ways to counter her, and it's like I was saying before with HumbleBrag, switching to the Pharah Junkrat, I think was great, especially if it's a Pharah specific, Pharah favored map. You don't have to, if you're good enough, you can actually kind of dodge the McCree Soldier, especially if your team plays around you properly. It's definitely doable. So the Pharah Junkrat comp is great. Play the shield break war, because with the damage the two of them do, there's nothing they're going to be able to do against it. So it's all about the projectile DPS, I think, in this case, in this meta, I should say.
Yeah, it's going to be the return of the Junkrat. I don't know if I'm happy or sad about that, but we shall see. So far, as we're going to be heading to Junkertown. We're going down under home of Uber X. You know, if you don't know Uber, one of the best shoutcasters in Overwatch League now. And it looks like we're going to be seeing a Widow war here. We see this usually pretty much all the time here on this map. We see Widow versus Widow. And, is it just as easy as whichever Widow is better wins this map, or is there something else to it, Beatdown?
Maybe in solo queue. I think if you have a competent enough Widow, when you're playing in a team environment, it's not that simple of who's better, unless you're saying, like, let's use pros as an example. You have Jake on Widow versus Carpe. Unless there's that kind of difference in skill.
Yikers.
Yeah,
Yikes.
Just the thought of that. But unless you have that kind of difference in skill, I wouldn't say the Widow decides it on her own, because a lot of it can be just distracting the enemy Widow while your team pounces on her. Your team could honestly just abuse the enemy Widowmaker. I've seen it a lot in the Owl, where even the Dallas Fuel against Seoul Dynasty with Fleta, pretty much the best DPS player, inarguably, they actually shut him down really well. Like, they bullied him. I would never see him actually get... he was always on the back foot. He could never actually get his position and, showcase his skill. So I think that's what it really takes here. Pretty much, it matters how well you work around your Widow.
Yeah, and it looks like here that, they are, I guess it looks like Avium is trying to be, practicing that Brigitte, because Brigitte is going to be legal in Open Vision, so
I think they're asking for a pause. But it seems like, yeah.
Yeah, we are going to get a pause here, so good call on that one, Beatdown, good job. It looks like we are going to be seeing Brigitte, so it looks like they're just trying to. It looks like Avium here is trying to practice their Brigitte comps, for Open Division, as she is going to be now legal, as I mentioned. So we are going to be seeing. Dan Twist is eating. Okay.
That's probably.
And he's on Roadhog. Okay, that makes sense. All right. So So Brigitte is going to be legal, and these teams. It doesn't look like HumbleBrag is worried too much about practicing their Brigitte, but it looks like Avium wants to try it out, wants to see how good this character is, switching, Cray onto this hero instead of Dan Twist. And I'm not sure how I feel about Brigitte on this map specifically, especially on defense, right? Because if you're on offense, you can maybe pair her up with that Bastion, because Brigitte Bastion, from what I've seen so far, Brigitte Bastion is a composition that is going to wreck House, because the amount of armor she can give, and with Ironclad, with the damage reduction that Bastion gets in Sentry mode, in turret mode already, it's going to be very hard to kill him. So do you think Brigitte is a Mercy-esque, like, pick on every map type hero now, or do you think she has certain niches on certain maps, right?
Well, if you mean Mercy-esque by, like, the Moth meta Mercy,
like 100%
pick rate? Not quite. Right now, from what I can tell, I think she will see a lot of play, like a hilarious amount of play. Like, even, I think you were saying, offensive Brigitte on Junkertown makes sense, because you can pair with the Bastion. The team has to come to you on the point, and that's exactly what you as Brigitte want. So that could be beneficial. But on the defense, for example, I don't really get it. Like, at least for sure, I know it can kind of cause trouble for the Widowmaker, because shooting through that armor is going to be difficult. In fact, if she does pop the rally, Chinchilla will be basically useless, as everyone will have more than 300 HP, and a lot of it will be armored. So Widow will not be able to reliably one-shot. So unless you're hitting headshot after headshot, I don't really know how this is going to work out.
Yeah, so we're going to be restarting the game here. Just a little bit of someone had to eat on defense, so they were stuck on the side of the payload, and we want to have these teams both be 6v6 here, going in with each other. No disadvantages or advantages, as I believe we're still going to have the teams are still the same side. Yeah, okay. So the teams, they're still the same side, so no color changes, because I know that screws me as a caster sometimes when the teams change and I don't remember which one is which. So looks like we're going to be seeing, Widow duel again, Cray. Looks like nothing different coming out from Avium, but I think that Mei is a troll pick. But I did see in Open Division, I did see some Mei being played on this map. It can be very good if you are running it correctly and if you're getting those dinks headshots. We saw Jay Chonak get that huge triple kill on Anubis with that Mei. So you know, and also Mei with those changes, you know, how do you think those changes to Mei are going to affect her? Do you think she's going to be seeing a little bit more play as well?
I think the changes, I don't think they make her OP. I actually kind of like them. At first, I was really scared as someone who likes to play flanker DPS, you know, with the extra freeze time.
Yeah, and me for main tank, who?
Oh yeah, I play main tank too, you know, same issue. But yeah. I actually think it's good. It makes her better at what she does, but not in an oppressive way. Like now, she's actually really good as a defense hero. You know, a kind of pseudo off tank. You can play her where there are tight chokes, like Hanamura defense A, and actually just Hanamura in general. She's pretty good. I think she's useful. We're not going to see play all the time. It's going to be somewhat of a niche pick, but not as niche as it was, I would say.
Right. All right. So, I mean, I agree 100%. I think she is going to be seeing some play more so than we have seen so far, not just a pick when you want to stall on a 2C meat map. But here we're going to go. The pirate ship is going to be coming online. The sails are about to furl, and it looks like they're going to get Q-Tip onto this payload, and they're going to have to try really hard to stop this with their comp. Shield break meta is a go, and they're going to have to do some pretty fancy shooting right here to get these barriers down.
Yeah, agreed. Not sure what Q-Tip's really waiting for. I think they want to set up right away, but you know, another thing actually that might make Brigitte defense on Junkertown hard. Wow, early pick on Excited.
Yeah, huge pick onto Excited there, and it's a really good pick. I mean, that's no mercy that you have, so you can't pocket that Bastion. Story is going to kill Chinchilla. Story being the MVP of this so far, but is going to be killed by PG1 there. And this might be, and not the res coming out onto Daikon here, and not onto Story, so they want that Junkrat damage coming back. And it's going to be very hard now for the side of Team HumbleBrag to get back onto this point. I mean, usually with Bastion, you want to keep him on all the time, and he's going to get hooked in here. Cedro, the ball and chain combo coming in from Cedro and Dantwist. That's a Bastion they don't have, and this ship might have sunk before it even got to do much sailing beatdown.
Oh, it's as he said. The hardest part is getting onto the payload, but considering holding up at spawn doors isn't ideal, that first push is your best one, although I guess just killing the enemy team like that works too.
Yeah, that's no DPS for the side of Team not HumbleBrag, Avium there. Sorry, I am getting mixed up with these colors and with these names, so it's a little bit interesting. I mean, the ball and chain combo is going to come out here, not going to do too much. They don't have the damage now to break that shield, and Q-Tip is just going to be able to go ham on this Bastion here. Kills Cray off the top, and they are going to be, the damage is going to come out from the bongo, so they might be able to come back. But Story gets the kill. Story gets 2 kills, but the tank configuration is coming out right now with the rally here, and that might be able to stop it, but no, Q-Tip is just going too ham right now, getting all these kills, and he might be able to single-handedly push this, unless Story can go absolutely nuts here. Story versus PG1, Junkrat versus Machine Gun Widow, who's going to win the battle here, but Excited is there, helps his teammate, doesn't respect the 1v1, and that's going to be a first point for HumbleBrag.
Well, you know, I was really like on the fence. I actually wasn't sure who was going to take that, but really good. Really good push. It ended up working out really well for them. The tank configuration for Bastion was great. Actually ended up basically making Cray's rally not useless, because it still ended up popping off a lot of people. Story almost saved the point for them, but it didn't quite work out.
So do you think you should be using rally, I mean, in team fights, or do you think, I mean, we've seen people so far, we've been seeing them use it, you know, before you go into a fight. Do you think they should have held that, you know, and maybe said, we'll wait for this next point, you know, we're gonna try and get and we're gonna go in with like 200 armor each?
Waiting for the, if they were to try and just give up the first checkpoint, yeah, it's something they might have considered doing. It definitely would have guaranteed they win this next fight, although I don't think it would have been absolutely necessary in this case. I think the reason they're just losing this now is they're kind of staggering, you know, they're not really taking the full team 6 fight, and that's why they've already given up the streets phase here.
Yeah, that's a loss at B. Story's going to get that pick onto his side, but the damage is already done. And also don't forget, Brigitte does have in that rally, does have that health boost that does help, you know, all that healing that you're going to have. So that might be a reason why they decided to pop it too. Chinchilla gets the kill on the Story. Zero's going to get Daikon, and that's the DPS gone. And this pirate ship is still going. They switched off of it, though. They are going to put PG1 onto that Junkrat, and Q-Tip's going to go back over to the Zenyatta. So they're just going to try, you know, milk as much of this point as they can. Avium's playing very far back now, and it looks like they're going to be rotating to a full dive combo here.
Yeah, full dive combo is actually probably a pretty good composition here, you know? You can pretty much just focus anybody you like, and a lot of these guys aren't exactly too mobile. They are mobile, but not like enough to like a flanker or any of these dive characters. So if they were to focus and rip these guys apart one by one, this could actually work really well for them. Exactly like they're doing to Zero.
Yeah, Story's gonna go in there, and the tank line, as you mentioned, are starting to shred. Cedro and Story are doing a great job here, getting all these picks. It seems like their names are the only ones in the kill feed so far. Cedro's gonna get PG1 and 0, and as you mentioned, Nostradamus beatdown right here is gonna be able. They got the kills that they needed, and they shredded that tank line.
Absolutely, and it's a good example of good dive tanks. You know, perfectly in sync. They're both going for the same targets. The D.Va's protecting the Winston. That's exactly what you want to see here.
And they're gonna be able to, they're just gonna be able to, you know, they're gonna regroup here on the side of Team HumbleBrag, just try their best to, you know, make sure that they're gonna be able to stay on this point. Just not gonna play too, you know, aggro yet. They're just gonna try and dive in. They do only have the dive tanks along with the Genji right now. It looks like there's gonna be a brawl on the top of the fidget spinner here. And it looks like they're gonna be going in. Crazy's gonna pop that ultimate ability. That Transcendence is coming in. And there's really just a brawl right here. Everyone's so split up. Ults are coming out everywhere. And it looks like the tanks, Cedro is in the back line around the spawn of Team HumbleBrag here, getting a bunch of damage and a bunch of staggering. They can't really do much here. They're just being held at their own spawn point.
Not just Cedro, actually. Daikon was there too, you know? Really good team play from the Winston Tracer. It's a really important synergy to have on your team. You know, all that damage he's getting in there allowed Cedro to finish those kills and essentially bully them back into their spawn, wasting a lot of time in the process.
Yeah, and a lot of ultimates here on the side of Team Avium. They have 4 to their name. They could go pretty much in right now, as we're going to see Genji go in right here. They're going to bust out the Transcendence, but Dan Twist gets 2 kills through it, doesn't care about your Transcendence. He says, I'm going to slice and dice. I'm going to kill my own, my counterpart, my doppelganger in Chinchilla on the Genji, and he's going to be able to wipe that team, and they're going to have to move back HumbleBrag with their tail between their legs. And they only have 2 minutes left, and this card has been pushed back pretty decent amount so far.
So far, yeah, that's right. Starting to not look so good here for HumbleBrag. They had a really strong 2 points, and now they really just can't seem to get it together. I think they need to just really get aggressive and focus fire right now. They're the ones on attack. They're the ones who need to be making the kills, and it plays exactly like that.
Yeah, and as you mentioned right now, Zero goes in and gets Dan Twist onto that right before the Valk, and his Valk is going to pop out, and then Self-Destruct is going to come out too. Everything's going out. They want this point so bad. Cray is just the only one on the point so far, and it looks like they're going to be able to zone out the tanks. Not going to be able to do much. The Self-Destruct is going to come out here, and it's going to get Q-Tip. Story is going to kill Q-Tip, but Story is already dead. Chinchilla got the kill onto him, and it looks like HumbleBrag is going to be able to push this just a little bit farther. They're going in. The Cedro, not Cedro, Zero uses that Primal Rage just to bat some people off the point, and it looks like they are going to be able to push this just a little bit farther. They passed the turn here, and they could get it just a little bit further, but the dive is coming in from the side of Team Avium, but the Dragon Blade's going to come out. He's broomsticking right now, not getting too many resets currently, but there he goes. He's finally getting them now, and it gets the D.Va out of mech. Even though it's not the most flashy kill, it does do the job and gets the D.Va out of mech.
A little bit of questionable. I actually got a little scared when he popped that Dragon Blade. His supports were actually being bullied by Cedro, completely cut him off. However, him and the rest of his team were able to do the work, and now this fight's actually starting to lean into their favor. Q-Tip still with the trance too is really going to be helpful in this next one. Antus has the Dragon Blade.
Yeah, they're just going to start trickling onto the fire now. The Transcendence is going to come out to counter that Dragon Blade, but we've seen him do some damage before with it, even through that, but now he's not going to be able to. He's getting focused down very well here. The Self-Destruct is going to come out to probably zone some people off the cart. They're so close, 0.32 meters. The Valk's going to come out to try and help them cap this point, but it doesn't look like they'll be able to do it here. Beat down, it looks like it's just going to be a trickle onto the point until they can finally get this, put this nail in the coffin. The Dragon Blade is going to come out from Chinchilla. He's going to be able to clean up the point, and they are going to get it. Also huge that they didn't have to take it all the way into overtime. 7.1 seconds left. And it looks like we are going to have a pause here. We're going to see a pause here. They do take it in 3. And we're going to see a pause here. I'm not sure exactly why yet, but we will get that information to you soon. So, yeah, any minute now. So pretty good start there from HumbleBrag. I mean, doing a great job. They, you know, from what we've seen so far in that last game, it looked pretty convincing. But here, they did a really good job of taking it, you know, to a map that, you know, is not as mechanically ruthless, I guess I would say, more than something like Control, where Control is normally the maps where you see a lot of that mechanical play shine through more so than any other map. So they brought out the pirate ship, which is just a comp that's very straightforward and it's very hard to deal with. So how do you think they're going to be able to do on defense? Do you think, you know, Avium's going to bring out their own pirate ship combo here?
Well, it depends on how the kind of comp they want to run on the defense. You know, they showed they are very competent at running the dive. A little shaky when they first swapped out of the second point, but you know, once they got themselves together, took advantage of it. Really all started with Dan Twist just being out of position. I think he was trying to sneak around, but you know, the Winston Zero absolutely has jumped on him immediately and took advantage of that. And then the kills just started rolling in and it started going in their favor. And I think that's a really key thing about the dive comp, capitalizing mistakes and focusing targets. They did both of that. And that's why you could see, you know, the kill feed was just mostly red the entire time. Avium falling one after another. After they made it around the bend, couldn't actually take a full fight of 6. And that's ultimately what lost it for them. So if they're going to run that dive on the defense, I think they can do it, because even if you run the Bastion, from what I've seen, the dive defense is actually the best way to counter it.
Yeah, and it looks like we are going to be back in here soon. I think Brockhampton had to go just for a little bit there. Was AFK for just a small moment, but it looks like we are going to be back soon. HumbleBrag does seem to be ready. We're just now waiting for the OK from Avium. And yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, if you're fighting this game is all about, you know, sometimes it's about mechanical solo play, but most of the time it's about team fights. And if you're, you know, fighting those teammates at a disadvantage all the time, it's going to be very difficult for you or, you know, any of your teammates to do anything. So good job from HumbleBrag to capitalize on those staggers that they were getting off at the side of Avium.
Seriously, like, it was. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Seriously, I was just gonna say, like, it was really great to watch. Actually, just that was really well capitalized. Like, you could just tell. I almost saw the look on Zero's Winston's face, like, oh, target.
Yeah, that's how I play Winston. I see a support who's not like with their team, and I dive in and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna kill him, and then Mercy's there, and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna kill him because I do tickle damage. So
you do tickle damage, and your team doesn't help you.
Yeah, you do tickle. Yeah, thus is the life of a solo queue player right here. But we are going to be seeing not a pirate ship, not a pirate ship coming out from Avium here. I think it's going to be just, or rather HumbleBrag here. It's just going to be Avium. I don't know why I always get confused, because there's the blue line that's showing where the attackers are, but they're red. So I get confused all the time. But it looks like from Avium, we are just going to be seeing a normal ball and chain combo triple tank with the solo healing. The solo healing misroot here, which we do, it's not too uncommon. We see sometimes, you know, just the solo heal to get you through that first point, and then you sometimes switch over to another healer, you know, your Zen or your Lucia or something like that. But, you know, double sniper actually beat down. What do you think of this?
I think this is, it's a do or die kind of composition, you know? They seem like competent enough players that they could make this work. It really just matters if they land the key damage. It's just they don't have to worry about a Bastion or a Brigitte or anything too particularly cheesy. I do believe it's doable, as long as they play properly.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get some of those headshots, some of those arrows and bullets are going to be firing. But, you know, as I say this, you know, the commentator cursed me and they switch off. That's just how it is when being a commentator. You say something about the comp and then you just switch. You know, they don't care about you. They don't care about us. But they are going to be... It's just how it is. But we are going to see this Widow battle. Chinchilla already hitting more shots here than Story. He has 50% to his ultimate. The hook is going to come in here, though, and Q-Tip is in a precarious position. Is going to go down to Dan Twist, and they're not going to be able to res that.
Absolutely not. You know, dying right in the middle of the team. I don't know what Mercy's crazy enough to do it, and even crazier to survive. Especially with Story getting another pick onto the Widow. They really need to regroup here. They are not going to hold this right now.
And they're just trying to brawl onto the point. PG1 is the last one there, and it looks like it's just a solo baby diva, but they're going to go down. Huge ball and chain combo to win that fight coming out from the side of Team Avium, and they're going to be able to push this probably uncontested to that next point. Cray is going to die just to get that mech back quickly, and so they can, since the respawns are so close, and that's going to be point B. Looks like they got the good spawn too. Man, they were thinking of everything. That timing was pretty incredible actually coming out from Cray.
Yeah, it was. I was actually thinking, like, wait, is that too soon? Or no, it was perfect.
Yeah, that's some stuff that doesn't show up on the stats, but that's some pretty nifty play coming out there from Cray. Really like that coming out from that Diva player, but they are going to get this rather quickly. 5 minutes on the clock, and they're going to start pushing this through the streets phase here of Junkertown, and they're just going to park up onto that payload. Nothing happening so far as these teams are going to try and break the shields, but the halt and hook combo ends up getting PG1. Great job there from Cedro and Dan Twist, and the whole hog's going to come out right now, and it's going to be doing a good amount of damage to that Arista, but the shield is going to go up and try and deny some of that damage, but it's too much. Cray is going to dive onto her. Zero is down, and it's just a self-destruct coming out here, probably just to save the mech, but Brockhampton is going to get back into it. And it looks like they're just going to be able to still push this very far. Another hook coming out. Dan Twist has been absolutely unstoppable with these hooks here. And it looks like they're going to be able to take point B really quickly here, Beatdown.
You're right. You know, I've just been... Oh, Cray almost made it there, but ended up dying just out of mech. I think a little bit too much of an aggro play there. He did get the Mercy and the Junkrat. I guess that did come out to their benefit. Still, though, that's not something you want to risk. You know, if you die early as a result of that, then that ends up stalling your team's push.
Yeah, you never want to be stalled like that, and unfortunately, you know, they are playing just probably a little bit cocky with how they've been, you know, going so far. I mean, why not? They have 5 minutes right here to push this all the way through. They've looked pretty much unstoppable here. And it looks like they're gonna be transitioning into a dive comp here on the side of Team HumbleBrag, and they're gonna be diving on the back line. Zen is by himself, and he's gonna go down to Brockhampton, but the tire is gonna come out. If he can get any picks, that would be absolutely huge. Is gonna get Chinchilla. Daikon is gonna die though, unfortunately, for Brockhampton, and they might be able to stall this just a little bit longer here on the side of Team HumbleBrag. Dan Twist though does get the kill, switching over to that Genji. Q-Tip is down again. Q-Tip has been focused so hard here for the side of Team Avium.
You're absolutely right. You know, it's starting to work out for them, but then I think they just got split up, especially Dan Twist coming clutch, actually making some pretty good kills here despite their man disadvantage. It's the reason they're actually going to get it this far. Now, Avium is just taking basically a fight to their advantage. HumbleBrag needs to go back into the spawn. You know, they still have a little time to regroup. They really need to get it back together. Oh, I guess PG1's just deciding to kill as many as he can before doing so.
PG Run trying to do the impossible here and kill the rest and help his team win this game. His story is going to get demeched, and the Transcendence comes out maybe just a little bit too early. Was not going to help with that Diva damage that was going to come out. And it looks like HumbleBrag is going to be able to do it here. They're going to be able to stop this as the tires coming out from PG1 flanking around. Manages to not get anything. So a couple of ultimates maybe a little bit too eager over there as Q-Tip is Cray is really far forward, and he's going to end up going down. Chinchilla and Zero doing a great job of diving onto him. Daikon is going to fall as well, and maybe they're just a little bit over aggressive here on the side of Team Avium. They're going to get pushed back pretty far, and that Diva is going to be staggered so hard right now.
Like I was saying before, Zero and Brock really great at just catching anyone out of possession. Then that immediate aggression. Oh wow, stalling story that long too. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, that's a brutal stagger. That's the worst part of playing Diva. If the enemy team knows that you're just not a health bar, if they know they can stagger you for that long, that's going to be brutal for them. That's 10 seconds. They're not going to have that Diva, unfortunately. But they are, you know, HumbleBrag is playing a little bit forward themselves, and maybe this might be detrimental to them as they might get picked off here. As Dan Twist is going to go after Q-Tip, but the Dragon Blade is going to come out, gets one, Misroot is gone. Dan Twist is going to kill Q-Tip on the other side, but Chinchilla manages not to get everyone, but the return Dragon Blade coming out from Dan Twist isn't able to get any kills so far. He's slashing away with the Transcendence healing, but he's not going to be able to get anything. Story ends up killing Excited, and the Cray is going to be able to kill the diving Zero onto him, so they might have been able to pull this here. Seems like a pretty even fight so far. It's just an absolute brawl. I know Story is going to get Chinchilla. Brockhampton gets Cedro as well. On the side, the res is going to come out from Cray, so they do have their supports here, but the stick is going to come out, get to Dan Twist and Cray. You can't res that, and that's going to be the push probably for them. HumbleBrag is going to come out on top of this fight, and they looks like they want more.
You know, Kenobi, you are absolutely right. That actual extra aggression almost cost HumbleBrag some card distance. However, you know, they did manage to keep it together, keep the enemy team separated, I should say. And you know, PG1 with the huge stick completely turned it around for them.
Ooh, and that's you don't want to see that. Q-Tip is going to pop his Transcendent. It's been forced out. Luckily, there is no Dragon Blade on the other side to deal with so far, so he will have time to get that back up. But already at 50-60%, Dan Twist is going to have it much before Q-Tip can have his. So a little bit of a great dive there coming out from the side of Team Avium to get the Transcendence. And Brockhampton is going to go down in the backline here. Another huge stick from PG1 onto Cray. Misroot might be able to res this, but might decide, oh, yep, there she goes. She's going to be able to res that. Story is going to be able to get her partner in Excited on the other side coming out. And it looks like this is slightly a brawl. Story did end up killing both supports, but you know, the respawns are so close here that they might be able to hold this. Brockhampton self-destruct, they're just going to be able to get away from it. And the cart's getting rather close here. They're going to have to play a really good stall game here. The Dragon Blade is going to come out from DanTwist. Daikon gets 0, and DanTwist is slicing and dicing through the enemy team here of HumbleBrag. They need to get on the point quickly. PG1 and the rest of the supports are on there too. The Dragon Blade comes up, but Kray's just going to stand there and let his student hack and slash away until he is ended up dying to Daikon there, and it looks like they're going to be able to complete this Avium with 1 minute and 53 seconds left.
It was just like you said. You know, Q-Tip using that Transcendence, just having it forced out without any ultimates in return for it, pretty much guaranteed DanTwist was going to get some good value out of the Dragon Blade, and you know, we saw it happen just now. I think in part, HumbleBrag was just too over-aggressive overall. It's good to push fights you've already won, but you got to know your limit, man. You can't push in the way that they did there towards the end, because it completely put them on their heels, and you know, they could never get their footing back properly. Coupled that with Q-Tip using the Transcendence way too early, it was just inevitable.
Do you think they should have played back further onto the point, you know, played around that fidget spinner, you know, left the cart there and kind of just camped the point, because they were playing pretty much up into the face of Team Avium? Do you think that was just a little bit too over-aggressive there?
You're absolutely right. It was over-aggressive. Like I said, you know, it's okay for a little bit when you're winning a fight, but once they start regrouping, you're heading towards their spawn. That's not a place you want to mess around in. You know, that's how you get caught out. That's how you lose fights, and that's how you just get staggered until the end.
And you definitely don't want to be staggered. Staggering is maybe one of the worst feelings, as we saw, you know, we saw a story on that D.Va get absolutely huge staggered on that baby D.Va. But it looks like we're going to be seeing, you know, ball and chain combo coming out here for the side of Team HumbleBrag. Again, Widow v Widow. Again, Story's going to try and get a nice pick onto that first. He does get damage, I believe, based on how much percentage he has on his ultimate. So good job from him. He got that poke damage, making them play a little bit safe. But they are on the payload now, and they're going to be looking for that ball and chain combo.
Well, we've seen HumbleBrag work really well with it before. The two tanks, overall, they're actually very in sync, I find. Look at that, great hook onto Cedro.
Yeah, Cedro gets hooked in, and that's going to be it for them. No ball and chain combo left. DanTwist is going to have to be absolutely huge with these solo hooks. Miss Root is in the building by herself, the Shack, and she's going to go down. You don't want to be there if you're a Mercy with a Roadhog in the room alone like that. That's definitely not a place you want to be, and it looks like they might have to give this one up, Avium. They might try a last-ditch effort to get this through, but they are set up on the payload pretty hard right here, and they do have, you know, they're going to have the Valkyrie soon, so they need to do it. If they're going to get on, they need to get on it now. Chinchilla is going to be able to kill Cedro, and he's going to be able to kill Daikon as well. And, you know, he dies to Story, but Q-Tip is going to be able to reverse snipe and right-click Jay Jonak, and that's going to be the end of the fight. They tried really hard, and Miss Root is going to be the last one. She's not long for this world, and in overtime, they managed to push it past point A.
You know, I really don't like how Avium played just now. As soon as Cedro, the main tank, goes down immediately, but they decide to contest the point anyway. No, that's an immediate you back it up, because honestly, what's a few more meters? They're in overtime. All you have to do is win one team fight and you're good. However, since they're switching up the comp and been on the back foot this entire time, HumbleBrag has way more ultimates on them. The Jug Tire, the Transcendence, and the Valkyrie.
Yeah, as you mentioned, they switched over to the dive, and the tire's going to come out here. If we can get a couple of picks, that'll be huge for this next push. Chinchilla's really going off on this Widow right now. He's going to be able to get DanTwist, and that's going to be really good for their push. You know, D.Va is out of mech right here. PG1 is able to get that, and Brockhampton kills Miss Root. Miss Root has not been able to play this game this entire push so far. Chinchilla going absolutely nutty on this whip. Daikon gets a double kill, which may be huge in the long run. That's both they don't have Orisa for that payload, and they want this card to probably push the fastest it possibly can. If Avium can get back to this, maybe they might be able to stall. You know, DanTwist is coming, but he's not going to get there soon enough, and that's going to be point B. Still in overtime. You know, they're doing a great job here, HumbleBrag, of pushing this all the way through. This is like Denmark versus France at the World Cup.
This is not a position they do want to be in. However, Q-Tip with the Transcendence is actually going to be really helpful. They don't have to worry about any offensive ultimates for a little bit. So it did end up stalling for enough time. Oh, Daikon going down is great too. Now the whole team is here.
Avium is pushed up really far here, and with the respawn so close for HumbleBrag, even if they lose some picks, they can still just walk out right through that door and get back onto the payload. And for still in overtime since basically point A, they've done a great job of pushing this all the way. This is probably going to be the hardest part for them. Chinchilla is going to be, or PG1 is going to be on the top here of the finish spinner, trying to get some poke damage out from this Junkrat, being damage boosted here by Excited, and if Chinchilla can get a few picks up top as well, they might be able to push this really far.
It seems like it will be the case. You know, they have the whole hog, they have the bongo that they just dropped. If they make use of it, there's still a lot they can do, as there isn't too many ults for the side of Avium.
Yeah, the dive comes in though, and it's gonna get Chinchilla and Q-Tip as well. Cedro and Story here seem to have woken up a little bit with their dive comp play. Story's gonna get PG1, and they're gonna be off the point there. But still, if you're HumbleBrag, a huge push in overtime with only 1 minute and 7 seconds that you had. I mean, just a fantastic job there.
Oh yeah, you got to be feeling great if you're HumbleBrag. You might even say they'd be HumbleBragging to each other right now.
Yeah. Haha. Yeah. I respect it though. I respect it. I mean, that was a good one. We're not gonna find any better puns, I think, with HumbleBrag today. So I mean, that's the best we're probably gonna be able to get. So you did set the bar high.
Hey, thanks. You know, I do the best with what I got.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't. Unfortunately, not that much is with we don't have that much with HumbleBrag, but HumbleBrag, you know, halfway through point C with 1 minute and 7 seconds. So if they can, you know, keep their composure, they might be able to hold. They might be able to hold Avium here, but Avium seems like they were rolling pretty hard on these first 2 points, so they need to be a little bit careful not to get rolled that hard again.
You're right. Although it does seem that, you know, HumbleBrag's calmed down a little bit. You know, they weren't overly aggressive this time. Might have been because they were on attack, but still, if they can run that here, I think this map could go their way.
Yeah, we'll have to definitely see if they're going to be able to keep that composure. And they are going to be running, you know, Widow v Widow battle again. Chinchilla won the first time on this offense, as we just saw. So, you know, we're going to have to see how they're going to be able to do. Avium just going to run the ball and chain. Or no, they're not going to run ball and chain. Brockhampton, no, they are going to run ball and chain. I keep getting mixed up with the things on the top. So no ball and chain coming out for the side of team HumbleBrag, which is interesting because they've been running it very well so far.
Yeah, I think they're just predicting the Junkrat pick, and they decided it was giving them too much trouble. They want to try to probably nullify that damage a bit.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Brockhampton is going to get hooked here and going to get back to his teammates really quickly. That's really good for him. He was almost very low there and very easily could have gone down. PG1 is on a little bit of an island here. Tries to mine away, but does get pulled back. Huge there upon the Mercy to be able to heal him. Zero is a little bit on an island by himself, but he does use the halt to get rid of that hook that was going to be on him. So they are doing a pretty good job of just playing patiently here. Story is going to get Q-Tip, which is a huge pick, and that was just right next to him. She's in the little... Story's just in that little shack. Is going to go down to PG1 here. So it's just a brawl here. It's very uncoordinated, and the point is still being pushed. So they need to really just try and get on that point. Zero's going to try to, but Zero isn't going to be able to damage reduce through all of that Diva Bomb damage. And it looks like this is probably a push 4 of Avium that's going to be on point A.
Well, they do still have a lot of time. They need to make it pretty much almost a little past halfway through the third point, and there's only 30 seconds left, so pretty soon Avium's going to be on overtime, so this could work out for them. They do have almost a junk tire, they have the Widow sights, the Transcendence. This could work. You know, all they have on the side of Avium is the one ult from Miss Rude. Because they're running the single support, that might be what hurts them here at the end. Ooh, especially with Chinchilla getting that kill.
Yeah, Chinchilla gets that pick onto Story, which might be huge. It could be Rez. And the tire goes after Zero, but that's not the target you want to kill when Marissa can mitigate all that damage, and then Rez isn't going to come out. The tire from PG1's going to come out, though, and if it can get any picks, it's going to get Daikon on his return Junkrat, and the Dio Bomb is going to get Dan Twist, and that might be it here, Beatdown. They might have pushed this all the way. Miss Rude pops her ult, and the Valkyrie is, the healing's there, but the bongos are going to be dropped as well. The song is going to be in return, and it looks like HumbleBrag is going to be able to do this, and they are going to be able to hold, and they are going to take a 1-1 score into this third map. Beatdown, great play coming out there from HumbleBrag, and maybe a little bit of miss ultimate usage coming out from Avium.
Yeah, agreed on both sides. You know, HumbleBrag probably feeling really good now. Put themselves on the board now, which is great after losing pretty convincingly in the first map. This time, I think they just played together a lot better. You know, they held it together. They picked comps that favored them, and they used them really well. Although some misplays here and there, it wasn't definitely as great as the side of Avium, which they took advantage of.
Yeah, so 1-1 score here coming out, and it looks like we are going to be going to either Next map is going to be Assault, either Hanamura or Volskaya, as we're going to see the losing team pick. So Avium is going to be able to get that pick. And, you know, if we're going to be going to Volskaya, you know, we've been seeing Story and I believe it's been Story and Chinchilla on this Widow battle. And this might be another place where we pick it again. We have it again. So who do you think so far has been, you know, the better star? Has it been Chinchilla or has it been Story on this Widowmaker?
Well, that's the funny thing. It started off in the beginning with Story. Story was pretty dominant, getting just picks for like nobody's business, getting a kill onto the supports in the back line, this and that. Oh, looks like we're going to be going to Hanamura. However, like I was saying, I think Chinchilla towards the end ended up pulling through, and I think it looks better on him because although it was a bit of a shaky start, towards the end he really just pulled it together and clutched it, because that is exactly what his team needed.
Yeah, and we are going to be seeing Hanamura next, as you mentioned. So maybe not as heavily favored as a Widow map so far as we've seen. You know, it could be, it could happen. You know, we've sometimes seen some Hanzo here coming out on this map. So this is a pretty interesting map, and we're going to be able to see what these two teams are going to be able to pull out here as we're going to be heading to Japan and these, you know, beautiful cherry blossoms as we see here. And, you know, we are going to be seeing the arcade too. You know, in the arcade, probably the best part about this map is you can just smash everything with no aplomb. Reckless abandon, destruction of property beatdown. What's better than beating up the arcade in this map?
Absolutely nothing. The first part of my name is Beat, and I gotta love beating down some useless machines. Well, I can't say useless, but
you've beaten down those machines. Hey, video games are not useless. Every video,
That's right.
not every video. I was gonna say every video game is a good video game, but that is not true.
No, but I think every video game is a good game to someone, so I feel like we should at least respect that.
Agree to disagree there. There are some games that I really wish just weren't made.
Okay, you know, as I said that, there are some games, you know what, that just shouldn't exist, but
yeah,
you know, for the most part,
I agree. Their games are pretty great. We're here. This game's pretty great. So let's talk a little bit more about this game. So we see another Brigitte coming out here. And, you know, Dan Twist is going to be back on it. Avium, by the way, these two teams have switched, so it is going to be Avium in the red, and it is going to be HumbleBrag in the blue. So I probably won't remember this, but the audience might, so that might be good. And it looks like we're going to be seeing basically the new triple tank. We're going to be seeing Story and Seadra on Reinhardt and Zarya, and we're going to be seeing triple support, basically. Dan Twist is going to be on this Orisa so they're basically just going to try and run into the point. This new triple tank, how do you think it's going to work, Beatdown?
Well, this actually is about the comp I expected. Since you know 2CP, you got to fight on the point. Brigitte loves fighting in close quarters. This comp's going to work out. Sorry, this comp, the way they want to work this is, like I said, they can just run straight to the point and then force the team to fight onto them. That's what they want, you know? Except Seadra dying is not what they want.
Yeah, Brockhampton is going to get Seadra, and I really love this Ana pick here coming out for the side of Team HumbleBrag. It's really going to be able to deny a lot of the healing from these AoE healers that they have. And it looks like they're just going to try and brawl them to the point. Not many health bars going down on the side of Team Avium as that healing from Miss Rude and Dan Twist doing so much. But Brockhampton getting a couple of picks early in this fight. Seadra's going to come back charging with that Reinhardt, gets back onto the point. But Chinchilla and PG1 in this background are trying to do a lot of damage, but they can't really with all this healing that's going on from the team. The Dire's going to come out from Daikon here, not going to get much, and Zero is going huge on this Winston, doing a great job, has that Primal Rage already, and Excited's going to be able to kill Dan Twist, and it looks like this might be the end of the push here for the side of Team Avium. They might get staggered here, and they definitely will. Misroot is going to go down as well as Krayin. Great defense, and I love this comp that's coming out here from the side of Team Avium, or HumbleBrag.
Yeah, this is a great composition, actually. The Ana's really useful, like you said, denying so much healing that like the Lucio could do, the Brigitte could do while brawling. It's great, but I think Avium can still take this. What they're not doing here is actually just running straight into the point. You know, they're playing the distance game again, and they really shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, the rally's gonna come out and they're just gonna be able to walk down. PG1 gets flailed to the face, and that's a lot of armor coming at you, Beatdown. They might not be able to damage through all of this. The soldier attack visor is gonna come through. Does manage to get Daikon. He's gonna go down, but Dan Twist is gonna be this Brigitte Squire. Reinhardt Squire is gonna be flailing away with her mace and with her flail, doing so much damage right now. Chinchilla is doing his best to damage all the way through it, but he's gonna die to Dan Twist as well. Graviton comes out to just secure the point, maybe just a little bit too overeager, and that's gonna be it. They're gonna be able to run onto this point, and man, when I believe that is a 300 and that is a 400 health Zenyatta walking at you, Beatdown. What do? You
cry. Especially as a Tracer player, that's unbelievable. Yeah, using the rally before they actually took the engagement was really good by Dan Twist. It gave them the time, since it's armor AoE over time, it gave them the time to actually build it, and it gave them all the sustain they needed to take that point. I do agree, Story might have been a little overzealous with the Graviton, although they were struggling up to this point, so I can understand the desire to just take this fight immediately and then have your 5 minutes to worry about the rest.
A little bit surprised that Junkrat's not coming out here from the side of Team Avium, but the Nano's gonna come out onto the Winston. Hero's gonna get Daikon. The Shatter whiffs everyone, isn't able to get any kills. Excited is gonna be doing a great job here and probably the MVP at this point, as HumbleBrag is going to be able to get rid of everyone off this point. Really loving this defense that I just saw come out from them here. Understood that they had the high ground and they were gonna get surprised with that Nano boosted Winston coming out from them, and I gotta say, this Ana pick might be a sleeper against these Brigitte comps. I'm loving what I'm seeing so far from Excited.
I agree, yeah. I love the anti-heal here. It's really useful. You can definitely nullify a lot of the value they're getting there. I think now, though, especially Chinchilla on the high point, like you said, you know, it's a lot of free damage because they don't have anything they can actually deal with it. So what they gotta do is they gotta go up here, focus the soldier off, force him down to the bottom, and take that fight to the bottom. Because up close, these guys cannot lose. They just need to take the fight up close. That's the only problem.
Yeah, PG1 gets Cray with the Pulse Bomb, unfortunately, before the Lucio ult can come out. But Dan Twist uses this rally, and no one is in it. Maybe Story just a little bit, as well as Misroot getting a little bit of the tail end of that. But it wasn't going to be getting any value. The fight was already over. You guys were not losing. You guys were losing that rather, you know, hard at that point. So a little bit of overeager push there coming out from Dan Twist. And it looks like they're gonna have to reset, but they might just go right back in here. Craig does have the Transcendence, and they might look to use it just to get onto the point right now.
Get in there.
Seems a little odd. I guess it did help build armor for this next fight. Although I don't understand why to do it basically when Dan Twist was by himself. That's gonna be a huge problem, especially now the attack fires are coming out.
Yeah, Tech Riders are going to come out trying to do a lot of damage. The anti-heal is huge. Daikon only with a couple health there, and PG1 is going to be able to kill Dan Twist. Bet that feels good for him, able to kill a Brigitte, because as a Tracer main myself, oh man, it's really scary going up against that woman with the shield bash and flail, so bet that felt good. And looks like Dan Twist is going to be swapping over to this McCree. They are done playing this comp, and Story's going to get staggered here by Brockhampton. Huge stagger, and Dan Twist going to be switching over to that Genji instead. It looks like they might be switching over to a more divey comp here.
That is so painful. Not quite. It seems that they're keeping their death ball tanks. I think they're just really want to keep that Rein Zarya synergy, especially because Story has the Graviton and Seadro is getting pretty close to his ultimate. I think they want to see what they can do with that before they actually commit to swapping comps entirely.
Yeah, they're not going to swap entirely, but they're going to be playing, you know, Genji is just going to try and do a little bit of poke damage from the backline here. But as you mentioned, they are going to be keeping this death ball, probably going to look to use the Graviton here as they're going around, you know, splitting up the team really good here. The tanks are on the other side, and the damage is going to come out here from the Transcend. Oh, it does unfortunately get excited. The Transcend is going to be able to help that. PG1 is going absolutely bonkers right now on this Tracer, getting the 3K plus the Pulse Bomb. Huge defense coming out, and it looks like now they might be starting to switch over to that dive comp. Yep, they're going to switch over. Wanted to see if they could get anything, as you mentioned, Beatdown with that with these death ball tanks. Weren't able to get anything with that Graviton, unfortunately for them, and now it's full dive.
I do see why they wanted to say it. Although as much as ultimates are valued, I think time is more important. They probably shouldn't have just bothered with that in the first place, especially because, you know, Q-Tip hasn't ulted the entire map, so he definitely has the Transcendence. It was really just a waste of time. Now you're going to expect to see the Ana with the ultimate probably onto 0. That's going to be really tough for them in this next push, as they don't have anything to respond.
PG1 Yeah, PG1 is absolutely going ridiculous on this Tracer right now, doing an absolutely phenomenal job getting these picks. And, you know, Dantwist does have the Dragon Blade, and Cray is going to have Trance, so they might look to do a Trance Dragon Blade combo here. Q-Tip doesn't have his, so if anything is to be the silver lining for what happened in that last push with the Graviton, they did force out Q-Tip's Trance. So they are going to be able to maybe do something with that. Zero, the nano boosted monkey, the grandma juice might come to him.
You're right, and that's going to be a big problem, but they don't have time to actually try and bait it. They need to go right now.
Yeah, and Dantwist is going to get excited, and Q-Tip. Both the supports are going to be down here, but Zero is going to be able to kill Miss Rude. And it looks like Cray is now going to use this Transcendence to get onto the point. They're pretty much uncontested. The Self-Destruct is coming in, though. Manages to get Cedro as Chinchilla pops the attack visor from behind. Is going to be able to get Cray and Dantwist both go down. Story, the lonely Diva Mech, onto the point, trying to do the best she can to get off. And oh, this is going to be an absolutely horrendous stagger coming out right now onto Story. They're not going to let him leave. You're not locked in here. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. And Story is eventually going to take their fate off the map. And that's a huge stagger they're not going to have.
That's going to be so painful, especially now with no DPS ultimates. Aside from Daikon's Pulse Bomb, this is going to be really difficult. He's going to have to go big with that.
He does go big. He does get Cray. Pagey1 gets Cray with his Pulse Bomb. And it looks like this is pretty much a foregone conclusion here. Chinchilla is going to get the pick onto Dantwist. That's the DPS gone. Only Daikon left. Very low health. Uses the recall, but Zero is going to be able to monkey boop him off of this. Story is going to be able to hit that self-destruct. Is going to get two. Both the supports down, but it's not for anything, unfortunately, just to round up that kill KDA just a little bit. And it looks like a really good defense here coming out of the side of team, I believe, Avium.
That's right.
Okay.
No, it was HumbleBrag.
Yeah, HumbleBrag. These color changes. Blizzard, come on. Help us casters out.
Yeah, we need team skins for everybody now.
Team skins for custom team skins. Can you imagine?
Oh my god, I can't.
How much money? How much money would they make? Do you think if you could make
if you
pay like $30 or something and get team skins for everyone?
That would be unbelievable. They make a hilarious amount of money.
Yeah, that'd be. Come on, Blizzard. Come on.
Come on, Blizzard.
So we deserve a cut because we came up with that idea. So
of course, Blizzard dev that I know is watching this stream on Broadcast.gg.
We'll split it.
Third channel.
We'll split it 3 ways.
Make it happen. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Really good defense.
Really good. Yeah. We this is usually the map where it usually devolves into just tangents about random stuff. I've always figured out it's just this map in particular. I don't know what it's about. But it's just how vibrant it is, and how nice it is, and how chill and how calming all these these cherry blossoms are here. It looks so nice.
You're absolutely right. You know, it really just relaxes you. Just lets your thoughts kind of go adrift, so you can be thinking about anything right now.
Yeah, but we need to we in these 30 seconds that we're gonna start to we need to start thinking about some Overwatch here. So it looks like Excited is gonna be on that Brigitte, who has been the talk point of, who's been the hot topic of this current game, these current series so far, as she is viable now in competitive. So welcome to Solo Queue Season 10, kids. But Excited gonna be on that Brigitte, and it looks like they're just gonna try to run in. Chinchilla gonna be on that Widow. So gonna be looking to get a couple of picks here with those sightlines that you can get potentially on this attacking point of A.
You know, if Chinchilla's feeling even half as good as he did at the end of Junkertown, he could really make something happen here.
Yeah, definitely, and we're gonna see if Chinchilla can get any of those scopes on to click some heads, as they say. But Q-Tip is gonna be the first to click someone. The rest is gonna come out, and it looks like they're gonna use that opportunity to dive onto the backline. Brockheimer and Zero doing their best dive tank impression as they're going in, and it looks like they don't need any help. Chinchilla is gonna be able to click that head of Daikon, but Zero is gonna be able to kill Dantwist. Story does DMech Brockhampton here, but unfortunately this looks like it might be it, and this is a pretty stellar push here coming out from the side of Team HumbleBrag. Cray is going to be able to get Zero, but that's going to be pretty much it. PG1 on this Tracer, I mean, my God, has been absolutely stellar throughout this entire game so far. How do you stop someone like that, BeatDown?
You honestly switch to the McCree. You know, play the dive with the McCree. You got to watch out for him, of course, because he's immobile and very susceptible to dive. But that flashbang, you know, at the very least, if PG1 would not actually get killed by it, you would at least, you know, he would think twice. He would respect the flashbang. I think that's what they got to do here.
And it looks like they're going to just decide Dan Twist is going to be going to dive comp here, switching over to that Genji. And they only need to get half a tick here, so they just need to really just play this safe. They have 6.5 minutes, so they don't need to push everything on this first point. They are going to maybe just use this as an economy push, but Excited is going to be using that Valkyrie, so double Valkyries coming out now. And the Primal as well to engage, but it does bait out Kray's Transcendence. That is huge beatdown.
It is, although Miss Brood did end up using her Valkyrie in
Yeah, so the self-destruct coming out too, and they're not on the point actually right now. Avium, Seadra's gonna hit that primary, just probably stagger just a little bit, but the Transcendence is gonna come out. It looks like they do want to win this point right here, right now. Zero doing a great job of zoning out the healing coming out from Kray. Doesn't get the kill, not just barely gets that kill with the tickle cannon, but he is separated from his partner Brockhampton now. Brockhampton's going to be demeched, and the respawns are starting to come in from the side of Team Avium. The self-destruct coming out to get the mech back. Maybe just a little bit too overeager. I don't think you needed it that much, but it does look like they are going to be able to stop here. Not giving up a tick, which is pretty huge.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Questionable though from Story aside. I think what HumbleBrag wanted to do here, they committed the Transcendence despite being down a member or two. I think they realized they were so close to that tick, and since they don't even need half of a second tick, I think they just wanted to guarantee that, you know, they have 5 minutes. That's plenty of time to build up more ultimates, you know?
Yeah, a little bit of a tilter there, maybe, that you were so close and yet so far, unfortunately. The Dragon Blade's going to come out here. No Transcendence to stop this, but, I mean, he is broomsticking just a little bit. Dan Twist not being able to get those dash resets, ends up getting Chinchilla, but does go down eventually to 0 on that. And the res is going to come out, so they are in an advantage right now, beatdown. And there's still going to be just a brawl up here on the top. The Tracer battle going on as well on the top left. And it looks like this is just a, you know, a brawl between Tank and Tank. Primal is going to come out here, and it's going to be pushed onto the point. He's trying to zone out Kray, actually, from the fight, but doesn't get the kill. And Daikon is going to be able to get the kill in return. Self-destruct coming out, doesn't get anything. Maybe just a little over-aggressive with that self-destruct, unfortunately. And it looks like this is still just a brawl. Seadro in the backline is going to get Q-tip, but is going to die himself. But they did get Q-tip, so that means they can't push. But the res is going to come out again from the Mercy, and it looks like it's just a brawl right now. No one really winning or losing, but I guess if you are on the side of Team Avium, you count that as a win.
Absolutely. That is definitely a regroup.
My tactical visor is
Regroup.
Yeah.
The regroup does come out here, and it looks like they are going to be just, you know, Excited does have that Valkyrie, so they might decide to push it, but they need to be very careful with their ult economy here. I mean, there are 2 support arts on the side of Team Avium ready and rearing to go. Daikon has that pulse bomb, so if Daikon decides he wants to use it and maybe make a play to initiate, he can. It looks like both tanks are going to walk onto the point right here. Seadro and Brockhampton, both Valkyries popped at the same time. Brockhampton gets Seadro before the trance can come out. That's a huge pick, but the Mercy Valk is there. The self-destruct comes in to try and get Chinchilla. That's 3 people. The 3K bomb from Story gets both the supports and the DPS Chinchilla. That's going to be a complete wipe. Zero's going to have to run back to his team with his tail between his legs. They even used the tack visor for that. You got to feel bad if you're the side of Team HumbleBrag.
Oh, unbelievable. You know, Story, actually the MVP of this defense here, literally saved that push. The Transcendence was out. They didn't have anything, like any more defensive ultimates. Miss Brood already used her Valkyrie. That tack visor to me was signaling like the end of the map. But that bomb, getting 3, including the tack visoring soldier, completely shut it down.
I love how Story, the second that he heard the sound cue coming out from the tack visor, just threw the ult up there, knowing where the soldier was going to be. So great job. Oh, PG1 does get Kray with that pulse bomb, so that might be the start of the fight that they need. The res isn't coming out just yet for him. It is going to come out now, but the D.Va is D-Mech. Zero is going to be out of this fight most likely for the rest of the time. They do force the Transcendence coming out from Q-tip here, but they might just use this to walk onto the point. The Primal Winston's still just booping people away, and it looks like they're going to be using this to fight. The Ziva bomb comes in, but falls into the deep Winston bubble. Unfortunately, Dan Twist does go down during his Soldier 76 ult, the visor, and it looks like this might be it here. They have the kills and they're having the picks. Story is out of mech. The tack visor comes in to guarantee this. Maybe just a tad too early, but it doesn't even matter. There's 6 people on that point, and HumbleBrag is going to be able to take this 2-1, and it looks like they're in the driver's seat looking right now.
It's starting to look good for them, especially really good plays from Zero lately. Despite an earlier push where he actually got read pretty well and wrecked this time around with the Primal Rage, displacing DanTwist. You know, he wanted to safely ult from a distance, but Zero did not allow it, pushed him into his team, where Brockhampton could eat away at the damage, and PG1 could just do what PG1 does and absolutely destroy him.
Yeah, PG1 was being absolutely huge on this map, doing a great job on the Tracer, and we know how good a good Tracer can be to a composition. I mean, can just solo pretty much an entire team by themselves if you're good enough. But it looks like we are going to be going to our next map here. Perhaps our last map here. We're going to be going to a. I believe we are going to Assault next, if I'm not mistaken.
No, this is Assault. I believe the next map is the Hybrid.
Oh yeah, this is Assault. Yep. Okay. So we're gonna be going to a hybrid, either Kings Row, Numbani, or Blizzard World. I believe we might go to Kings Row based on the fact that Avium, both of these teams also like Kings Row. I believe they said on their sheets. So you know we.
No, although HumbleBrag did say they preferred Koth overall, I think, considering their least favorite game mode was 2CP, it's a safe bet to say Kings Row is a good map. You know what? It's everybody's favorite map.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it is widely maps in Overwatch just because of the amount of versatility you can have in terms of comps and stuff. You know, we see so much creative comps coming out. We see Hanzos, we see Maze, we see Quad Tank, we see Dive, you know, Widow battles. It's just a really fun map, and I think everyone likes it just because of how much variety you can have.
Yeah, it's just, you know what, considering how the meta's been going for the last year or so, I think it's great to just play on a map where you're not throwing if you don't play the dive comp, you know?
Yeah, and dive comp, oh man, dive comp's so strong. I mean, Brigitte might have killed it, but maybe it's just unfortunately a little bit too much killed, which I wish they maybe, you know, a lot of CC coming into Overwatch, maybe just ease a little bit back, Blizzard. Jeff, come on, just ease off a little bit on the CC. Come on, we have a lot of it, so.
Yeah.
But it looks like we are going to be going to Kings Row. So, like we mentioned, I mean, the comp that it's hard to talk about comps on this map because there's just so many of them. Beatdown.
Agreed. Although I think the HumbleBrag does like to run the dive comp, so I think that is what they might end up sticking to. But this is a great map for the Reinhardt. You know, Zero has shown he's very capable at the Reinhardt. I wouldn't be surprised if they did go for. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna call it right now. I actually think both teams are gonna run a Rein Brigitte.
Rein Brigitte. Oh man, Brigitte. So we've been seeing Brigitte a lot. So, you know, it's gonna be really interesting to see if we're gonna be seeing it again, especially since Junkrat does have some, you know, really good play on this map, and it looks like is excited about being able to play Brigitte again.
Yeah, and it looks like DanTwist is also excited to be on this Brigitte, and like I said, it's really good here because, you know, it's basically her and Rein work really well together, despite the fact that she can just abuse him with her shield bash. I think whatever map is good for Rein is going to be good for Brigitte.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, Brigitte is Reinhardt's squire, so they're always going to be together. She's always going to be healing if they're going in, swinging their hammer respectively with each other. But it looks like we are going to be seeing perhaps a Pharah coming out from Chinchilla. I do like this pick, especially if they think there's going to be a Brigitte on the other side. Brigitte, like we said before, can't shoot into the air, so if you can, you know, knock a few direct rockets onto her or break her shield, it's going to be very valuable to have that Pharah.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I think that's a really good foresight here from HumbleBrag. Playing the Pharah, hopefully, actually, and plus they're on the attacking team, so, you know, playing it on defense is a little risky because you can get that Widow switch, but, you know, that's not going to be the case on attack. They have the spawn advantage, especially on a map like Kings Row, so I think if they have a pretty good chance at a clean shutdown here.
Yeah, and, you know, it's just, I think this might be one of the first times we see Brigitte versus Brigitte, except that Excited changed, so maybe not as excited to play Brigitte, unfortunately. But DanTwist is going to, I'm going to use that all the time I can, you know. DanTwist is going to be playing that Brigitte, and we've seen it a few times from him already, and it's going to be against this, basically this quad tank, this double tank, just Reinhardt, Zarya with 2 damage dealers and 2 healers, so 2-2-2 with the Pharah without a direct healer. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to work if Chinchilla can stay alive. But who can't stay alive is Zero, who dies to a fire strike off the bat, and it looks like that's going to be its Story. They both, Story and Brockhampton both die. Story is going to kill Q-Tip as well. And it looks like the Reinhardt Zarya for the side of Team Avium here, maybe just a little bit better at the start.
You know, I'm not quite sure I agree with running excited on the Moira. You know, this isn't a tank-heavy composition by any stretch of the word. So I think it's better to just have the Mercy. You know, synergizes well with the Pharah, that damage boost. Because Chinchilla's up there in the sky, there's a lot of escape routes for her, and there's really like no way Avium can actually shoot her down. So I think that's just what they really need here.
Yeah, but Chinchilla is going to get that kill onto Dantwist. So as we mentioned, Pharah can get that Brigitte when she's in the sky there, and the barrage is going to come out, but it's not going to be able to do anything. Daikon is going to be able to kill her. Shatter comes out huge from Seadro here, gets 3 in the Shatter, and the Kamehameha from Moira is going to try and do as much damage as it can. Seadro just swinging away. Zero is going to be swinging away back and is able to get 2 kills here, but the Junkrat Tire and the Graviton combo is going to be able to get 2. The return Tire, maybe a little bit too late, is going to get Daikon. But the respawns might be here for the side of Team HumbleBrag, but Chinchilla is going to go down on that Pharah. Story's laser beam just high enough to get her, and Excited going to go down as well, and they're just trickling onto the point here just a little bit right now. Zero's going to try and go in as well with Brockhampton. The Graviton comes out, it only gets Cray, so only one person in that ultimate, but it might have secured the point for them. Story is rather low, going to have to go and get some heals elsewhere. And it looks like this might be the point that they needed to take here. Chinchilla is going to be zoning off these people with their Pharah rockets, and that's going to be the point for them for Avium, HumbleBrag. Beatdown, sorry.
That's right. Taking down Cray and Seadro like that was pretty much the key here. Although it didn't seem like originally Brockhampton's Graviton did much. It did manage to pretty much get them away because they didn't want to get stuck into it. So at the very least, in some way, it did control their movement. Not quite like they hoped, but I still think it worked out in their favor. Still Chinchilla here on the Pharah, despite the not really synergizing healers here. I'm not really sure how she's going to get healed.
Yeah, however, they don't have any hit scan on the side of Team Avium here to deal with this, but the Shatter comes out. Huge Shatter comes out on the side of Zero here. Is going to be able to get 4 in that Shatter, kills Seadro with the charge, and it looks like this might be another good push for them. Do you think they need to start switching onto some hit scan heroes, Avium, for the side of Team Avium, Beatdown?
For sure, or at least, you know, yeah, at least one hit scan hero to complement Daikon. Because I do think Daikon here on the I do think that, yeah, Daikon is important here on the Junkrat. It's a lot of shield break and damage that they really can't do without, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the Shatter's going to come out here. Huge Shatter with a barrage. Not a great position to barrage, maybe just a little overeager. I mean, if you see your team, the rest of your team, all of your team, like 3 people caught in a barrage, that might not be the time to use it. So it looks like Avium's going to push up really far again. Going to try their best to make sure that they can't get back onto the part if you're HumbleBrag. And, you know, without some hit scan, they were able to wipe that point pretty hard. But Chinchilla is still going to be a pretty big nuisance on this fair that they have to watch out for.
Well, the only time Chinchilla really has to worry is when he's using the ultimate there. Wow, double kill from PG1.
Return double kill from Daikon. So it's funny because both the Reinhardt and Lucio for each team are the ones to go down first. So it is going to be a fight here pretty evenly right here. Brockhampton is going to be on this Zarya. Is pretty high charge as we can see, but Story's going to kill Chinchilla, and they don't even need hit scan. Story is saying, I'll just shoot my laser beam up there. It has a pretty long range, so I'll be able to take you down, and with no healers that are directly on you, you're going to not be able to live, Pharah.
I really don't know what's going on with HumbleBrag here. They're way too aggressive. They really should just disengage when they're down a member like this, and it's really starting to hurt them. You know, they're putting more ultimately to Chinchilla getting way too low. There's no reason on a map like this that you should be getting killed by the particle beam.
Yeah, the rally's gonna come out here and give a lot of armor to the rest of the team. Dantwist though is by himself, so if he dies here, he's gonna die. Reinhardt is gonna be able to smack her with the hammer, and Brigitte is down, but the damage might have already been done, unfortunately. And it looks like they are going to be able to push here. HumbleBrag finally playing that little bit of a slower comp, as you mentioned, waiting for that perfect moment. Chinchilla going to be raining rockets down from above. Still no hit scan switch, and they might be trying. They might want to contest this, maybe Avium, but they don't have any ultimates.
Yeah, you know, just as I was about to say, Zero with the Earth Shatter.
Yeah, the Earth Shatter comes out, and you know, the Moira Kamehameha is going to come out as well. Story's trying his absolute best to stop this point. The Shatter comes out, and it's a huge Shatter, gets a good amount of people, but the Graviton is there in return. Zero gets 2 kills by swinging away with his hammer. Is able to get the charge 2 on the Seedra, so he can't get back onto the point. Stop it. And it looks like HumbleBrag is going to look to roll past this Omnic Graveyard, as I like to call it.
Not a good idea here. Again, questionable aggression here from HumbleBrag. Pushing up and trying to get stagger kills is fine, but you want to do that when you have more than 3 people. Because right here, this is really awkward, and it's a really easy way to just feed. Although they did disengage properly, which I do appreciate.
And DanTwist has switched over to that Widow, so they are going to switch over to a Widow of their own. And the Graviton is going to come out here. Zero's going to do a good try to stop the damage as much as he can, but he is just one Reinhardt with 1 shield. He does get Cray as he charges back to his teammates, and it looks like Avium's going to try their best to try and get a stagger kill, but they're not going to be able to on the Moira. And it looks like they're just going to wait here and play the zoning game again, but as we've seen so far, HumbleBrag seems really equipped to deal with that zoning strategy.
Yeah, so far it is working out for them. The Junkrat's really good. You know, they're feeding Story a little too much, I think.
And the huge Shatter comes out, gets both tanks and Junkrat and Moira as well. Miss Root is going to come in with her Kamehameha and do a good amount of damage to the people on the ground. Daikon kills PG1 with his tire, and they're just out for blood right now. Avium is they're trying to get that Lucio off the point, and DanTwist is going to be able to get excited, but Zero comes back with his own Fire Strike onto Seedro. Tire is going to come out here from PG1, maybe just a tad too early. It's going to be able to get 2 picks, and they might be able to go in on this. You know, Zero's just trying to lock in right now. You know, Chinchilla on this Widow is going to be able to have some good sightlines here, so they might be able to push this here. And as I said, it was an early tire. It might not have been.
Although it did seem early, I think it did give them exactly what they needed. It forced Avium back, and now they have time to land this insane Shatter.
Yeah, the Shatter comes out, the bubble onto Seedra just a little bit too early, and it wasn't able to stop the damage from the charge, and Excited is able to get all of these kills with the Moira right click and Moira Orb. Chinchilla is going to be able to be free in this backline to click some heads, but he doesn't even need to, as HumbleBrag is going to be able to push this all the way, get that completion. And I mean, as I say, they did a really good job of managing that aggressive style coming out from Avium as they were trying to, you know, zone them off and play like who's the stronger or who has the better comp in general. And you know, they took it on the chin a couple of times, and they were able to really, you know, regroup and come back.
Yeah, it really helped that Avium was using ults, and for the most part, HumbleBrag wasn't actually using any. They were essentially just a few economy pushes, you know, one at a time. They started baiting ults out with their aggression, and it worked out perfectly because at the end, you know, they had 3 ults to their name and absolutely just smashed them, especially with that early double kill on the tire. It forced Avium on the back foot, and is pretty much what guaranteed, you know, using the ults one after another is what guaranteed them to just falling apart, and then HumbleBrag finishing. Not in overtime, no less.
Yeah, HumbleBrag doing a great job there, and you know, 17 seconds is a pretty good amount of time that you have. You know, it's really interesting to see how these teams, you know, deal with being, you know, I always say that being able to learn when it's okay to die is a very important thing in Overwatch. Is like, this isn't going to be a game where you're going to have, you know, you're going to live unless you're really good and it's like a very mismanaged matchup. If you are going to lose, and there are going to be some ultimates that you can't really, you know, deal with, like a tire, for example. So it's a good job for like Graviton tire. You're most likely 99% of the time going to die in that situation there. So I really like what I'm seeing from them.
Yeah, you're right. You know, they're dealing with it really well. Although now they're going to be running the dive comp, it seems.
Yeah, dive comp going to be coming out.
Actually, sorry, I'm just a little afraid. I'm suddenly getting flashbacks from Oasis, you know? Good DPS, but questionable tank line again against DanTwist on the Brigitte. You know, I'm starting to get scared. This might actually work out for them.
Yeah, they're going to be running in here with these basically 3 tanks with the Brigitte, Reinhardt, and Zarya. PG1's going to do his best to try and get some splash damage done, and it looks like they have moved over HumbleBrag to this pharmacy combo, and he's going to be pretty much uncontested up here. Chinchilla going to be able to get a lot of good damage done. And if they don't deal with him right away, it could be very detrimental. Already at 50% of his ult, the PG1 and Brockhampton are extremely low here, and they need to be very careful. Looks like the damage is starting to come in, and the points and the ticks are starting to come in for Avium. They have everyone zoned out, and without any deaths basically besides Chinchilla, and now the deaths are starting to come through. They just play the zoning game and they win very hard. The kill does come out to misroot from Brockhampton, but the damage might have already been done here. PG1's gonna get Dantwist, the PG, and Chinchilla's gonna get Cedro actually. The tire might be the only saving grace here, gonna wait for the shield to go down, but Cray is able to kill it, and this is just a brawl right now. The respawns are an advantage for the side of Team Avium, and it looks like Story is just gonna be able to clean up here, get a 3K, and that's going to be it for them.
Pretty much was only able to hold for 1 fight. Hey, it just goes to show you, you can run the D.Va and Winston into a Brigitte, but it's hard. It takes so much outplaying, and it's really more hassle than it's worth. You don't need to go through all of that. Just play the Reinhardt, play the Zarya, and play the shield break game, because that's what they need to do here. But now, it's just, they basically fed and they're so behind in ult. You see now the Graviton's out.
Yeah, the Graviton comes out and is able to get a couple of people in. Its Story is going absolutely huge on this Zarya here. Wants to just keep it going, keep it rolling. Is going to be able to maybe take out PG1, does. And Story, the MVP of this game, we've said it before, their D.Va play is so huge. And they're going back to the spawn of HumbleBrag here. They want blood. They're going to get it with Q-Tip and Zero going down to Cedro. And look how far they are away from the payload. I mean, they're just, Moira and Junkrat are just having a cup of tea on the payload while the rest of the team is killing HumbleBrag.
Well, this is what I was talking about. This is exactly how you want to run the stagger. You know, they have more than 3 people, especially fighting on the ground. They have the Brigitte and the Reinhardt. It can definitely make up for the lack of DPS. You know, all that CC, how well she works with the Reinhardt, giving him armor and healing and such.
And as you mentioned, armor and healing, Dantwist comes out with that rally. Daikon's going to get Chinchilla with the tire. That's interesting. And the Self-Destruct's going to come out here as well as the Transcendence to try and mitigate some of this damage coming in. The Barrage is going to come in, going to get 2, and maybe going to get 3. Is okay with just the 2 so far. Excited kills Daikon with the Mercy Gun that does a surprising amount of damage. And finally, they're going to kill the raid boss. That is Story. And HumbleBrag is going to be able to hold here, but uses a lot for it.
Indeed they do. Now they're going to switch to the double hit scan. You know, tired of Chinchilla on this far. They want to shut him down right away. Definitely not a bad way to do so. I think they've been handling this pretty well so far. That really aggressive play, they did it really well. Almost got them the second point immediately. They still have 3 minutes and a lot going for them, I think. Cedro with the Earth Shatter is going to be huge here, you know?
Yeah, Cedro with his Earth Shatter has been really good so far. The tire's going to come out from PG1, going to look for some targets to get, and it looks like doesn't get anyone so far, but Q-Tip is going to get Story, so Zarya not going to be in this fight. Chinchilla kills Dantwist, that's 1 hit scan down. Going to be looking for the second one as well. And it looks like it's now HumbleBrag's turn to go back to their spawn, but Cedro gets the pretty big ultimate there. But oh my god, Zero, great job there to block any damage. Is going to get charged away, going to sacrifice his life, but huge sacrifice there. Get down Mr. President moment. And it looks like they're going to be able to pull back just a little bit. And they need to be very careful to not get rolled here. Chinchilla uses the barrage. Oh no, Story is able to get him with the help of Cedro. And you don't want to see that, Panda. To beat down, you hate to see that.
You absolutely do. That's so horrible. Couldn't even finish the first syllable. Gets that all completely nullified. Garbage, useless, and now the ult charge is gone too.
Yeah, the Self-Destruct is going to come out now. Is going to not be able to get anything, but Zero is in the backline. Is able to get Dantwist, but Story again on this Zarya is going to have Graviton, and that's going to be a couple of people in that Graviton. Daikon with the Sacrificer is going to try his best to clean up this point. Gets killed by Brockhampton with the Bunny Blaster in melee. Oh no! Daikon, you just died to a K-pop video game star. How do you feel? That's the worst feeling ever, and it looks like it doesn't matter. He's probably feeling good that his team is able to get this point so far. PG1's tire comes in, isn't able to get anyone as Misroot fades away from it, and finally Avium is able to take this point.
It's kind of funny. I don't think Daikon was actually paying attention to Brock. That's how he got him like that. Just goes to show you why game sense is so important. Still, good plays. Absolutely great that they managed to finish this fight with 3. Guaranteed that even if the tire got 1 or 2, that point was theirs for the taking.
Yeah, no ultimates now on the side of Team HumbleBrag. They don't have much to work with. This DanTwist does have his Deadeye, so if everyone wants to use it, Brockhampton is going to get deleted right here. And that Shatter, very interesting Shatter coming out from Seadra. Maybe just misjudged the range just a little bit there. Not able to get anyone within. That's a ultimate you wish you would have later. PG1 deflects the fire strike right back into Seadra's face. He's not having a good time right now. Might be a little bit tilted after these couple of plays beatdown.
Agreed, and you know, I don't know what they're doing here. You know, they don't have Seadra with them, but they're committing with the ultimates. Actually, the funny thing is, it looks like it's working just in time for Seadra to come back too.
Yeah, and they DMAC Brockhampton as well. He's gonna go down, and Seadra's back in this fight. And it looks like they're gonna try and push this all the way to the end. The ultimates are here for the support ultimates are here for the side of HumbleBrag. They do have the Transcendence and Mercy's Valk, so they need to go right now if they're gonna try and get on those. Seadra's trying to zone him out, but they're gonna rock onto the point right now. The Transcendence is here to mitigate the damage of the Moira Coalescence that's coming into the point. They're so close, just 1.14 away. Seadra probably really wishing he had that Earth Shatter right now to kill everyone. But oh, the attack visor comes in, and with the Graviton coming out, the Kainoon as well. All ultimates are being pulled right here. The self-destruct is going to come out, but I don't know if it'll be enough. Q-Tip try to get back on the point. The res comes out, charged. Seadra is going to be able to get charged onto Excited, and he's not too excited about that one as his team is going to be losing this point. I think with a minute left, I believe is what I saw.
Yes, that's about right.
Oh, 2 minutes.
Oh,
All
no,
right.
but that's because they're adding the 1 minute.
Yeah,
So, as you said, 1 minute and 9 seconds.
9 seconds off. Come on, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm giving it to you. Don't worry.
I know. I'm just saying. Come on, Avium. You know, I casted 2 games so far. Wait 9 seconds. Come on. Let me be my Nostradamus.
No, it seems like they can't give it to you. Unfortunately for Q-Tip, he couldn't give it to his team either. You know, using that Transcendence. I bet he very soon regretted that. You know, as soon as he used it, especially for the Moira Coalescence, it's really not worth it. You know, it's not that much damage per second. And at a point where they could just, you know, use the terrain to hide from it, they had some time to do so. And right after that, Daikon coming in with the tactical visor pretty much just tore through the rest of them. And it's what guaranteed the point. It wasn't the Deadeye, it wasn't anything else. It was that tac visor that could have been blocked.
And it looks like we're gonna see a May. I don't believe that's real. No. Why am I even saying that? Because if I say it, it won't happen. So it's probably going to be a Zarya coming out from Brockhampton here, or a Diva. And it looks like they're going to be running a Widow. So, you know, they're going to have to be very careful on the side of Team Avium here to not get picked off early in these fights.
You're right, especially with Chinchilla on the scope of that Widowmaker. This guy is a madman.
Yeah, absolute mad lad as we have here. He's going to be going inside trying to get some nice sidelines. The Junkrat grenades are coming in fast and furious right now, and so are the bullets. DPS really raining down on that Reinhardt shield. It's going to end up being broken eventually, as Brockhampton is going to kill Story, and the story of this match has been Story himself, and he's not going to be in it for the rest of this. So it looks like this might be a wash for the side of Team Avium. They're going to have to retreat and hopefully not stagger too much longer. Brockhampton, though, is out for blood. He wants more, going to try and get more, as well as Chinchilla, and if he can click a few heads, that might be some hard staggers they won't be able to have. But they are going to cap this point, so good point A attack here coming out from the side of Team HumbleBrag.
You're absolutely right. Very clean, good play here from HumbleBrag. You know, it's funny. They're finally playing Reinhardt the way I wanted them to, but they don't actually have the Brigitte this time around. But you know what? That's fine, because that's still how you want to play the Reinhardt. You know, you want to play the shield game. You want to keep your shield up. You want to keep getting your fire strikes in there. And so far, that's what Zero's been doing here.
And they are in overtime now, so if there's a lost team fight right now, it is most likely going to be the last one. The infrared sight comes out, and the Kamehamehas are coming out as well. This tire comes out from DanTwist. The return tire is going to come out, but DanTwist gets PG1 the tire and Q-Tip. That's huge from DanTwist, but the Graviton is coming out here if Brockhampton can do a damage, but there's no follow-up. Daikon with the tac visor to secure the fight. And oh, it's so unfortunate for Brockhampton being absolutely huge, but the tire coming out from DanTwist pretty much saves the game.
Oh, absolutely. You know, not only did it get to it, actually denied the tire, the one ult that actually could have switched the you know, advantage back into their favor. But you know what? No. He just said no. That's not happening today.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they aren't able to push it too far after their point A push, but they did get point A, so that is a defense that is you are definitely able to make on this map, as it looks like they are going to be running back that Widow. that we saw earlier, and it looks like these two teams are just going to run the same comps that we saw before. PG1 might be still on the Junkrat. Yeah, so it's the same comps that we've seen before from these two teams. So Chinchilla going to be very, going to have to be very good with clicking these heads as we've seen so far. Brockhampton versus Story seems like that's the fight we need to watch, as well, as these two areas have been pretty huge this entire night.
You're right. Although I think I got to give it to Story here. You know, sometimes he's just in the oddest places, but still getting so much value out of that Graviton of his.
And looks like we're about to get into this. It's probably one of these last fights will be the one that decides this game. Either we're going to be going to a 3 victory for the side of HumbleBrag, or it'll be a 2-2 for Avium going to a tiebreaker. So we are going to be seeing these two teams just walk out. The orbs come in from both teams, trying to do some little bit of poke damage for the Moiras at the start. Not too much. Fire Strike is going to be able to not land for both teams. Chinchilla is going to be doing his best to take down that Lucio, and ends up doing it. Lucio is down, and Miss Root as well. Both supports down. Chinchilla clicking those heads and clicking those body shots that they need. Gets Cedro as well, and Chinchilla uncontested is going to be able to stop this push dead in his tracks. They need to find something to deal with him.
You're right. You know, this is actually the comp Avium is playing is such high favor for Chinchilla. You know, not much mobility. The high ground is somewhat accessible, but still, he would give Chinchilla plenty enough time to just reposition and go right back to clicking heads. And, you know, he has all the tools to succeed. All he has to do is land the shot. So far, he's doing that. This is going to hurt them, hurt Avion if they don't deal with it.
Yeah, Avium looks like they're going to be going around to the house on the right. They're just going to try and see if they can do anything. But Q-Tip gets a double kill somehow on this Zenyatta there. It looks like he's able to stop this push as well. And they're out for blood here. Zero charges in after Cedro and gets a couple of fire strike takes. And oh no, Story is going to go down here. That's a huge stagger. That's unfortunate. Excited getting a little bit into the enemy team. Gets rather low there, so he's going to get that Zenyatta orb for healing. Zero's rather low, but Chinchilla again clicking onto Ms. Root gets that nice damage, and that's going to be a healer you don't have for this push. And Beatdown, only 1 or 2 more fights left for this tier for the side of Team Avium.
You're right. It's really not looking good here, especially with his junk tire. You know, probably going to get something. Oh, and it gets Story.
But Story does get PG1, so that is huge. The respawns will be on their side. The Coalescence is going to come in. Cedro does have the Shatter, and he's definitely looking for it right now. And Brockhampton is not able to block it, and neither is Zero. They're both going to fall. The Transcendence is going to come out here. With the Graviton, a lot of ultimates being used for this push. Brockhampton is going to be, the respawns are going to be coming in for Avium here, and they might be able to keep this. A lot of ultimates being used everywhere, Beatdown, but it looks like Avium will reign supreme with theirs. And that's going to be an overtime push, and they are so very, very close to that next point.
You're right, and it's really going to hurt HumbleBrag right now. You know, they used so many ultimates, actually all of the ones that they had. They really thought they could hold that one, but it didn't work out for them. You know, Q-Tip just a little late on that Transcendence, couldn't save Zero, his main tank, and pretty much the shield for all of his all the damage they had to mitigate.
Yeah, this is the last fight. This is the last fight here. Zero does have this Earth Shatter whenever he wants. And it's going to be up right now. He needs to be very careful with this play. If he can hit a huge Earth Shatter, Cedro needs to be very careful. But maybe the Junkrat tire will come out and get a couple of kills for him. The Dragon Blade is going to come out too. There's no Transcendence for it. And Daikon gets a huge triple kill with the tire. That's going to probably be it. And it looks like we're going to be going to a map 5 beatdown. Avium take it, and we are 2-2. Man, what a push coming out from Avium there.
Man, what a series we have here. Really great play from both teams around, especially Daikon. He is indeed the hero of this map. Stopping their defense, pretty much nailing the coffin in their attacks and absolutely demolishing the defense of HumbleBrag.
Probably excited that he's getting a Mercy play of the game. You don't see those too often, but, you know, good job on him. Valkyrie into a surprisingly damaged Mercy Blaster. You know, pretty good. I like that one. But, they're probably liking that we're going to be going to or they're probably not happy we're going to be going to a 5th map because they were on the losing side of that one, but we are going to be going to a last Control 5. We are going to be going to Ilios here. So we've seen a lot of Widow plays so far. Oh, it looks like actually, are we still playing? We might be ending it at 2-2 here.
No, we definitely should be going to map 5,
looks
and
like,
as I said that, we're losing.
Yeah, Commentator's Curse. Yeah, it looks like HumbleBrag is starting to make their way out of here. So this is going to be we ended in a draw, and you know, for what can be said, Beatdown, that's a pretty good score. I'd take that score. I think both these two teams were pretty even. What do you think?
Oh, I agree. I think both played really well. Both definitely did have a lot to learn. I'm sure they did learn it throughout this scrim right now. So I can't wait to see them again in the future, hopefully when they improve.
Yeah, and it's going to be really fun to see them again. I like seeing Avium again because I had casted them before, and it was really nice to see, you know, them come back. I mean, they got 3-0'd, so definitely want to come back. And they take 2 games off of HumbleBrag. Also a team nearing that 4.3K, 4.3K, you know, SR. So that is going to be it for us today. Thank you everyone for watching, and you know, we christened Broadcast.gg 3 here. I think we did a good job. Beatdown, me and you had some good games, really even games, and I think this is a good way to start it off. Hopefully we'll see some better games on this channel, or some more games, not better games, because that's kind of hard to beat those games that we saw. So hopefully some more games that we'll see here. And as always, we're brought to you here by Broadcast.gg. If you're looking to become a caster or a analyst or work behind the camera as a producer, you know, we want to help you be on your own path to pro. So we want to help you get to all these opportunities that, you know, like us, me and Beatdown being able to cast a scrim together. So, I mean, if you're looking to practice, if you're looking to make your way in the wacky world that is esports, definitely check us out. Check us out, and I think I'm not sure if on this channel there's stuff under the channel. There isn't. Okay, so then go to Broadcast.gg's main Twitch and get the Discord link, and follow us on Twitter, you know, at Broadcast.gg as well. So definitely come check us out. Beatdown, any final thoughts?
No, I couldn't have said it any better myself. As you said, good games. And if you want to do what we do, please come join us in Broadcast.gg.
Yeah, definitely. So also want to shout out Moira, who had the name, who has been our producer for the for this production today. She did a great job making sure she got all those nice sight lines, nice replays. So everything, we're able to work our magic because she's able to do it better than we can. So thankfully, thank you for that, Moira, and thank you everyone for watching. For me, Kenobi, for Beatdown, and for Moira, have a great night, and we'll see you soon.
Peace.